Over the last few days, the Democrats have settled on what they hope will be the winning political strategy to carry them through to November. The strategy is this: call the opposition weird. That's it. Yes, the brain trust of the DNC came together and adopted a strategy first pioneered by the mean girl lunch table in middle school. The memo has gone out. Marching orders have been passed down. Call Trump, J.D. Vance, and all of their supporters weird.
Some of what he and his running mate are saying, well, it's just plain weird.
These guys are just weird. That's who they are.
As weird and creepy as J.D. Vance.
Super weird idea from J.D. Vance.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, it's quite weird. They're just plain weird.
Just plain weird.
Just plain weird.
That stuff is weird. They come across weird, and then they start being weird. Yeah, they're weird.
Being a really weird.
He's such a weirdo.
Donald Trump and his weirdo running mate are weird. Deeply and profoundly weird.
Well, you get the basic idea. So that was a supercut compiled by Grabian Media showing that the Harris campaign and its apparatchiks and the corporate media are, as always, reading from the same talking points. 2 days ago, you would never catch them calling anyone weird as a pejorative, and now they delight in saying it like a child who just learned a new cuss word on the playground. And that was just a very short snippet. I mean, articles in the mainstream outlets like Rolling Stone and USA Today are echoing the sentiment. AOC is tweeting about it. Yesterday, she insisted that Republican policies are, quote, an incel platform, dude. And she continued, quote, it's super weird. A Kamala Harris super PAC called Don't Pack Down just produced an attack ad hammering this point home, or trying to. The PAC tweeted the video with this caption, quote, these guys are just weird. And here's the ad, which itself can only be described as, well, deeply weird.
Us MAGA Republicans banned abortion, but that's just the start.
That's just the start.
If Trump gets elected, we want the government involved in all aspects of your sex life.
Way more involved.
Way more involved.
When you have sexual intercourse, it should be illegal to use contraception. No pills, no condoms.
Your genitals are reserved for procreation.
If you freeze 12 eggs, you should be required to have 12 babies, or else you're a serial killer. And I'm definitely not a serial killer.
Are you?
My son monitors my porn usage to make sure I'm not self-pleasuring.
Just like Speaker of the House Mike Johnson. That's true, you can look it up.
Don't you think that's normal?
Yeah, I do.
It's normal for your son to do that.
You should have a family member monitor your porn use too.
Because pleasuring yourself is very, very naughty.
I'm voting in November.
I'm voting in November.
We're all voting in November. Are you?
Because what happens in your bedroom is up to me.
Is up to me and my son. Also, mouth stuff is a sin.
Now, if you were to tell me that that was a right-wing parody of a left-wing portrayal of right-wingers, I would have believed you. But unfortunately, we live in a time when most parodies are unintentional. And of course, the irony here, as Peachy Keenan points out, is that those sweaty, weird guys in the video, in real life, are all voting for Kamala Harris. And that is, in general, the most obvious and necessary and true response to this messaging pivot from Democrats. Now, yeah, we can note the hypocrisy of it. We can observe how these very same people have, up until this very moment, embraced weirdness as a virtue and strongly condemned anyone who used the word as a pejorative. These are the people, after all, who live in cities like Austin and Portland, where the unofficial city motto, printed on T-shirts and emblazoned in giant letters on murals, is "Keep Austin weird, keep Portland weird." There's only one cell phone company that gives you free premium access to the media that you actually care about, and it's Pure Talk. This might be the best offer Pure Talk has ever come out with. Listen to this. When you switch your cell phone service to Pure Talk on a qualifying plan, you'll get a free 1-year insider subscription to Daily Wire Plus. That's right. Take advantage of unlimited talk, unlimited text, 15 gigs of data, and the mobile hotspot on America's most dependable 5G network for just $35 a month, and you'll get 1 year free of Daily Wire Plus. The Daily Wire Plus Insider Plan gets you access to our entire library of movies, series, and documentaries, including Lady Ballers, What is a Woman, Mr. Bertram, Run, Hide, Fight, and more. Plus, you get all of our daily shows uncensored and ad-free. But the only way you can get this special offer is by going to puretalk.com/Walsh. I've been telling you to stop overpaying for your cell phone plan for a long time. If you haven't made the switch over to Pure Talk yet, now's the time. Go to puretalk.com/Walsh today. Switch to a qualifying plan and get 1 year free of Daily Wire Plus Insider. So these are people who made up terms like neurodivergent and brag about being neurodivergent themselves, all in an effort to normalize and celebrate what was once considered weird. So they're being shameless hypocrites with no moral standards to speak of, but that's basically baked into the cake at this point. The more effective and important rebuttal is to point out how the people calling Republicans weird are the same people who tell us that men can have babies. These are the people who insist on having drag queens read to children, who demand that we put gay pornography in elementary school libraries, who walked around triple masked and quadruple vaxxed during COVID, who in some cases are still masked even today. These are the people who laid prostrate at the golden casket of a criminal drug addict who died in police custody in 2020 and demanded that our cities burn to avenge his death. The people who insist that we refer to single individuals as they, who invented pronouns that don't even exist in the English language, and on and on and on and on. These are the people who want to throw around the weird label now. I mean, it's like having a 700-pound, severely obese guy in a motorized scooter roll up and call you a fat ass for eating too much broccoli. I mean, everything about that dynamic is backwards and confused. Actually, I take that back. It is backwards, but it isn't confused. They're not confused about anything. They know exactly what they're doing. They are running around, pointing at normal people who say and do normal things and snickering about how weird it all is, because the whole point is to rebrand normalcy as somehow objectionable. They want to make normal people feel weird about being normal. They have no argument to make against us, no way to debunk our points, no position they can articulate, so instead they take a more visceral approach. They figure that if they can point and laugh at us, they can, through sheer mockery and peer pressure, make us believe that normalcy is grotesque and bizarre. And then they hope that we will flee the normal thing and embrace its opposite, embrace what is actually weird, because we'll be so confused at that point that we won't see it as weird. If their strategy works, then we will feel weird for thinking, for example, that women are female. And by default, we will embrace the proposition that women aren't anything in particular and don't actually exist. An idea that is, among other things, very, very weird. But we will accept it so that we will not be called weird. That's the plan. And we must admit, it can be extremely effective. There's something, again, visceral about it. It plays on the psyche of the average person. I mean, think of it this way. Imagine that you took just the average person, put him in a room with 20 other people, and gave him a basic first grade arithmetic exam. How long would it take for the 20 other people to berate and harangue that one guy into no longer believing, or at least pretending to no longer believe, that 2 + 2 = 4? Imagine that he wrote 4 as the answer to that math question, and every other person in the room turned to him and said, "Really? You think the answer's 4? What are you, some kind of weirdo? Seriously? Why are you so obsessed with the number 4? What's with your 4 obsession, you weirdo? Why did you write 4? What are you, in some kind of cult or something? Who says 4? 4. That's just weird. Super cringe." Now, how long before he starts questioning his own understanding of elementary school arithmetic? How long before he forfeits mathematical truth just to make the harassment stop? How long before he actually convinces himself that 2 + 2 doesn't equal 4? Now, we'd like to think that nobody could be berated into denying something as basic and obvious as that. We'd like to think that. But our recent experience in this culture proves otherwise. People, for the most part, are suggestible and non-confrontational and prone to insecurity. And they just want to get along without drawing too much attention to themselves. These are all things that can be, and so often are, exploited. That's what this weird campaign is all about. And it's why the non-weird among us, the actually non-weird, the normal, need to stop bowing to it. Instead, we need to start, we need to say to these weirdos calling everyone else weird that you are today canceled. If you'd like to see what else I have to say, you can access my full show by going to dailywire.com or by going to the Matt Walsh Show Twitter page. Hope to see you there. Godspeed.